Hello, everybody, and welcome today to our session on the healing benefits of nature. My name is Samantha Young-Fielding, and I'm joined by my lovely friend Leila Banks, who is a degree-qualified naturopath. Although she's based with me here in New Zealand, she originates from England too. So I'm going to hand over to Leila so that she can introduce herself more fully.
Okay, hi everyone. So yeah, Sam asked me to share about something I'm very passionate about. As a naturopath, we take the holistic view. We use nature to heal. So clearly, talking about the healing benefits of nature is very apt. So today I'm just going to be talking about the practical suggestions to get nature back into our lives, because we've come a long way from how we've evolved to live. We live this modern lifestyle. It does really affect our health. It's called like it creates this mismatch between what we've evolved to be living like and how we actually live, and that creates disease. So that's the concept of ancestral health is quite simple. We basically take guidance. How did our hunter-gatherer ancestors live, eat, move? Let's try to do a bit more of that, and you can't go wrong. In fact, there's something called nature deficit disorder, which is actually a term coined for when we don't spend enough time in nature. What happens to our bodies, to our behaviors? And there's this unequivocal evidence base, that shows we do have a lot more disease the less time we spend in nature. So yeah.
Wow, I didn't know about that. That's really interesting. So what is the first and topmost tip, the easiest thing everybody can do when it comes to nature, Leila?
I always start with light exposure, because it's all you have to do is poke your head outside and you've got sunlight wherever you are. So it's free, simple, and it's actually, sunlight is the most powerful synchronizer for our circadian rhythms. And our circadian rhythms are the internal biological clock. They keep us in, they're meant to be synced up with the natural environment. And when they're not, that's when things go out of balance, because they regulate all of these systems in our body that have to work together. And that's why just using light exposure, sunlight, as a tool, we can set ourselves up and start to rebalance from there. So
Yeah, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. Now, we've had people, when we did our poll from week 3, which was sleep focused, we've had people saying that they're still having a challenge with sleep. So could it be to think their circadian rhythms?
Yeah, circadian rhythms are massively involved with it's a sleep-wake cycle. The day, night, light, dark. When we're out of sync, then things are all over the place. So clearly, if we start with, we want to get good sleep, start with sunlight, and it starts in the morning. You start setting up sleep in the morning, because we're on this 24-hour cycle. So you can't just get ready for sleep at bedtime. It starts in the morning, but then you keep it going. You see, you can't get instant results, but you can get quite fast results when you start living in accordance with the natural cycle. So as soon as you wake up in the morning, you want to get outside. It doesn't have to be immediate, but within, 30 minutes, maximum 1 hour. I think we can all achieve within 1 hour to get outside. And it depends on how sunny it is for you, how much sunlight you need to trigger this cortisol awakening response. And that means cortisol is a stress hormone, but it's really necessary to get us feeling alert and ready for the day and give us energy. And it peaks in the morning, and it really does depend on a good dose of light to get to its optimum level. Otherwise, it's going to be more like flatlining. We want that peak. So get outside, and if it's really sunny, 10 minutes is ideal. Even a few minutes when it's really sunny is enough, but 10 minutes, let's say. And if it's cloudy, then it goes longer. You need to be 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes when it's cloudy. If it's really, really cloudy in the depth of winter, can we do something outside for up to an hour? Like read, have your breakfast outside, do something outside, go for a walk. It's just spend that time and then you'll get that exposure. It's all about getting that light to your retina, to your brain, and you do need enough light to trigger that response.
So, of course, we want to do it safely, don't we? We want to be outside with sun exposure safely. Have you got tips on that too?
Yeah, I'm definitely, because exactly. So with the thing with sunlight, it's it has this whole range. This the UV. They've got the light spectrum is this full. It's this broad spectrum that when you break it down into the individual components, you can start demonizing parts of that. UV it's associated with skin damage and aging and all of that. But you do need UV. You need UVB for vitamin D. You need UVA for actually helping you synthesize steroid hormones and sex hormones, and it has all these other benefits. But it needs to be in balance with the full light spectrum, which actually, if we try to go really simple, at the other end is the red light. So it goes into the, we can't see it, but we feel the red light. We feel it as warmth. So we do need to balance the UV. And that's where the benefits come in, is that you have the balance, and you don't get the damage, you get the balance. So with the morning, it's only a relatively short amount of time compared to the rest of the day. So you're getting your peak UV in the middle of the day, right? That's when it peaks, and that's when you're going to be making your vitamin D. So you do want to make vitamin D. You do need to expose your skin, but it's done depending on where you're at, gradually, incrementally. You're building up the time daily if you're starting off and you're very pale and you're not used to sun, and you're always watching your skin for as soon as it goes pink, you've had enough, and then that's how much you need. And it's all very individual, but the more you do it, the more sun protection mechanisms you build up in your skin. Yes. So you shouldn't be afraid of the sun. There are so many tips with like protecting yourself internally as well, like eating a good diet, rich in plant pigments, carotenoids from your fruits and vegetables. It helps give you that natural sunscreen, and your vitamins C, E, B vitamins. So it's all about that healthy lifestyle coming together, not just going outside, staying out ages, being burnt. That's not good for you. But yeah, I do want to go back to the red light, because we've heard of red light therapy. I think you've mentioned
I've heard of it, yes, but I'd love some more detail on it. That would be great. Because, of course, we've also got to address the blue light thing at bedtime, haven't we? So definitely tell us first about red light.
So red light might be considered the regenerative part of the spectrum. So it actually penetrates deeply all the way into your cells. It goes into bones. It's got a lot of evidence behind using it as like in the bulb form you can buy, but we're talking about sunlight at the moment, which is free. But either way, it's doing all of these, increasing the rate at which we turn over our cells, our collagen in the skin, in our joints, like I said, bone remodeling, improving bone strength, reducing inflammation. And actually, have we heard of mitochondria in the cells with your energy production factories?
Yes.
It actually stimulates the mitochondria to produce melatonin, which we hear of as a sleep hormone, but it's actually a very powerful antioxidant in the cells. And we make it when we get that red light into the cells. So actually going outside through the day is really beneficial to keep you topped up with antioxidant protection, and having that balance. So you're having early morning exposure, right? We talked about that. And then going out again in the middle of the day for your UV, for your vitamin D. But again, in the late afternoon or early evening, the sun is coming back down again, and then you get more red light again. So you get more red light in the morning, more red light in the evening, you see, and that balances your UV.
That makes
so don't be so scared of the UV, but get your balance, because you're helping it regenerate. And actually, when you go out in the afternoon, late afternoon, as the sun is not quite setting, but it's going to be setting soon, you're watching it come down, that actually watching that in your visual field, it's making that red light and the way the light is coming in is making your retina less sensitive to the blue light exposure. It's kind of giving you more protection later on to be less sensitive. So it's setting you up to go to sleep really later on, kind of winding down. So yeah, it's doing all of this exposure, not just in the morning at night. It's kind of having that natural, following the natural cycle of the day and syncing yourself up with the environment.
I talk about that all the time, sync yourself with the environment. That's amazing. Now, another thing I wanted to ask you about when you're talking about syncing with the environment is the whole concept of earthing. What have you got to tell us on earthing? Because that really is about ensuring that you sync in with your environment, isn't it?
Well, and earthing you do any time of day or night, because it's literally just putting your bare feet on the ground, on the soil, on a lawn, on the beach. It has to be. It can't be like wood. Wood is not conductive, or a rubber, or even. I think you can get some through like granite or not, like concrete, but it's really best to go on soil, a natural surface. And the theory is there's a sea of electrons surrounding the Earth, and we can absorb those because we're conductive. we're water-based beings, we're electrical beings. And the theory of electrons neutralizing free radicals is that free radicals are unstable, they lack of that electron. Electron come in, neutralizing it. So you've got an antioxidant effect. Yes. And when you have antioxidants, you know that's an anti-inflammatory effect as well, because oxidative stress, those free radicals can create inflammation, which feeds into chronic disease. Because chronic disease is chronic inflammation. It kind of goes hand in hand. So there is a lot of actually research demonstrated benefits. So we have reduced inflammation and pain because of that. We have regulation of all the body systems in general and our natural cycles in general, like the menstrual cycle and regulation of hormones, and then improving your sleep, reducing your stress, improving mood, increasing energy. You get a lift in energy, I think, when you stand outside and you just soak up the natural environment through your body. So yeah, couldn't be simpler. And you can do that in the morning when you get in your sunlight. Just go and stand and get your exercising, get your walking, do what you need to. But if you can do it barefoot, bonus points.
Better. So I go out every single day with my dogs, no matter the weather, hot, cold, raining, whatever's going on, I'm out every single day. But one of the things I do love to do when the sun is with us is to meditate in the sunshine. So could I be grounding at the same time? How do I ground?
If you're sitting on the lawn? Or...
No, I'm standing usually. I'm doing a sun salutation while standing.
Oh, well, if you can stand, but can you stand barefoot?
I could stand barefoot, absolutely. So I would just stand barefoot. I'm not so keen on standing in the lawn because I'm worried about the insects running between my toes, but I could stand on our earthy section. That would be okay.
Oh, like in the soil?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Soil, lawn, it doesn't matter. It's still on your direct contact with the earth is the important thing. Like you don't have any barriers in the way.
Yeah.
Because
and is there a way?
Is there? And if it's wet, so much the better. Like say when you have morning dew, is even more water is conductive, so you get that extra electron flow. But it doesn't just do it. Is my advice. Doesn't matter any time of day. It's going to benefit you.
Perfect. So there's no specific tips about grounding. It literally is just go out there and stand on the ground.
Get your shoes off. And you can have your whole body in contact. You can you can get even more contact. If you've got a painful area of your body, yeah, you're going to get pain. You're going to get benefit standing there. But if you lay down and you get it through your whole body on your bare skin, you do have to have naked skin contact.
Yes.
It doesn't really work through clothes unless the clothes are wet, possibly, because you'll get some flow. But look, in summer, it's a lovely thing to do, and in winter, I think most people can manage to get their shoes off. and just
Definitely.
stand barefoot or sit barefoot and have your morning cup of tea or your breakfast, or you're reading the paper, or you're even scrolling on your emails on your phone, but you're doing it outside, so it's still healthier for you.
It is. That's amazing. I love all that. So what we've been talking about, the earthing side of things, the sunlight side of things, is there anything else that nature brings us as a health benefit? Is there any other
Yeah, I mean,
part of what we
it's
do that's kind of, positively affected by nature?
yeah, we know it. We know we know it. We know we need it. We know it benefits us. So it's hard to actually research the individual aspects because you can't separate them out in a study. It doesn't really work like that. But there is an increasing body of research that shows when they just break it down to how much time do these people spend outdoors compared to these people, and what are the health consequences. And they see that there are dozens of studies again and again and again showing that, in brief, in summary, getting outside in nature, in a natural environment, I should say, because it could be a green environment where you've got trees and grass, or a blue environment where you can see the sea, basically a natural environment. Even the park, I think, is included, because if you live in the city, it's just seeing green. It's being in a green space. You call it green spaces, right, in a city. 10 to 30 minutes a day. Well, 10 minutes isn't long, is it, either? 3 to 7 times a week. So that's a summary of some of several of the studies out there, and the benefits they're showing. There's so many. We've got like mood and cognitive function. If you're learning, your memory, your attention span, your creativity. If you have a little nature break when you go in, you're working a lot more productively. You're showing heart rate and blood pressure noticeably goes down when we're outside connecting into nature. Obviously marks of stress go down, cortisol. We want cortisol in healthy balance, but when we have too much stress all the time, that's like chronic stress. We want to bring that down. Lowered pain, speeding up recovery from injuries, and immune function. There's fascinating, lots of Japanese studies with forest bathing, going in the bush, like we say in New Zealand, or going in to the forest, okay, with trees, but even any trees. Can you get in? Have you got a garden with a tree? Have you got any trees you can be near? Because trees and other plants are giving off these like essential oils. They might be called phytonicides in some literature. Inhale them, and they directly stimulate immune defenses, like natural killer cells, which go after viruses.
Yes.
So that's really interesting, seeing that is measurable. Being near water is another whole thing.
See, I'm Cancerian, so I love being, I don't want to live near water. The whole flooding thing freaks me out, but I love going to the water, being with paddling with my feet in the river. I love going to the seaside, just every now and then. So there's definitely research around the blue stuff too.
Yeah, actually, there's evidence around this. The environment near moving bodies of water, whether waterfall or stream, is moving. There's this negative ionization that's created in the environment, and just being in that space, we just know there's all these aspects, because just listening to water and hearing the sounds of nature, there's all of these relaxation inducing effects. Seeing the green colors, seeing the fractal patterns, this natural geometry. So using all your senses, it's like that's a mindfulness exercise. You're feeling, you're seeing, you're hearing, that's why it's called forest bathing, right? You're immersed. But you can do that in any natural environment. Even if you're lucky enough to have your own nice little garden, we're doing it in that natural space.
We've actually got a waterfall close by here, and I love to go to the waterfall after heavy rain, because there's so much power in that water.
More of that ionization.
Feel it inside. It's the flow thing that really helps me too. Have they looked into that? Anything to do connecting us to the flow?
The flow, I think that is the when we're talking about the cognitive function, like getting into the zone, that we like, even some studies. Now, this is off the top of my head now, Sam, because I haven't got the piles of papers next to me, but they were showing people just an image of nature. Now, it's not as powerful, but say you've got a screensaver with a natural environment, a rainforest or something, there's something about our senses taking that in, that we're replenishing those the capacity of our brain to have that attention, to get into those, like what you say, like into the zone like states. Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. And I've got to ask you this because I've heard of the hygiene hypothesis, but no one's ever really explained that to me. And I think it's something to do with our immune system. Could you just give us a couple of,
Oh, so we're going into the microbiome.
Oh, microbiome. Okay,
Yeah.
so talk to me a little bit about that then.
Yeah, so that's so microbiome, it's our ecosystem. We have it on all the surfaces of our body. We know about the gut, it's the biggest colony and of microbes, but we have it throughout. You know, we know about all the cavities and our eyes and our skin and our mouth. Everywhere that can be in contact with the outside world has a microbiome. So by interacting with a healthy outside, healthy natural environment, it influences our microbiome. It makes sense, doesn't it? So we're in contact with it.
Yeah.
So, and when I say healthy, I know it's hard. We have pollution, we have contamination in soils, in the air. I know, I get it, but we just have to do our best. So, you know, that's why it's good to go out into nature, into a natural environment when you can, or get away from the city pollution when you can. But when you, as much as you can do, when you're in contact with, say, the soil, we heard of the, like you're thinking about a healthy soil has its abundance of microflora. And when you absorb that through your skin and you're inhaling it through the air, it's actually training your own, it kind of communicates to our body how to respond to the environment in a healthy way.
Right.
So don't be too reactive. So if you don't have exposure to the natural world enough as an infant and a child, later on you're going to have more allergies, and even later more immune disorders like autoimmunity and even cancers, because we didn't get the training as a young child to the natural environment. So it trains us. But even as an adult, we're having that healthy interaction. It's like it's influencing it in a healthy way. You see, it's like what we eat, it makes a big difference. Totally. What we inhale and what we touch also influences our microbiome as well.
That makes an awful lot of sense, especially around the idea that nowadays we can even grow our own vegetables, can't we? And there's been that whole push to get people back outside, growing their own veg and eating what they have basically harvested themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting all the nutrition benefits and the freshness, but if you're growing it yourself in a healthy soil that that's not contaminated, when you pick it, don't wash and scrub all the dirt off. You can brush off the excess, but you don't have to clean it too thoroughly, because when you ingest that extra layer of healthy soil microbiome, because I'm literally saying it is that very natural interaction that we are just used to having as human beings, and we don't have that enough of that now, right?
I'm well known for leaving a few insects on ours. The kids usually get caterpillars with their dinner and they start picking them out and going, Mom, what's this? I'm like, it's extra protein, just eat it, it's all good. But no, I think that's really good to know that actually there's benefit in that soil that everything is grown in.
It can. So you can even get supplements with soil-based organisms in the capsule. So if if you can't get your own healthy organic food, that it's not contaminated, because look, if in doubt, please don't risk it. Don't start eating any old soil. You can even get it as a supplement. You look for the spore-based probiotics, or they could also call the soil based organisms, SBOs. Right. But hey, if you can get it from the natural world, so much better. It's
amazing.
It all adds up.
Yeah, I talk often about probiotics. I definitely think that everybody should look after themselves that way. And it's just, we need to help. We've got a responsibility to keep our ecosystem as fresh as it can be. And I think for me, that's one of the ways that I have a daily probiotic that I take. There's so many good things out there. But what
Yeah, fermented foods, don't forget.
fermented
because
foods too.
because
Yep.
that's another source of beneficial bacteria.
Yeah.
So it's all about exposure to beneficial bacteria, whether it's a healthy soil, healthy air, or fermented food, or the healthy soil on your produce. So
yes.
you're all, and when we live in too sterile an environment, because we're always cleaning and there's more chemicals associated with that, it's actually diminishing the diversity and health of our own microbiome. So think about it. We want diversity. We want an abundance of good bacteria.
We've had an amazing session already on fermented foods, and there's another one coming up this week. So a real timely reminder that that's actually really good for us. I just need to ask though, what about our animals? Are they helpful or not? Because
yeah. Well, if your animals are living a healthy life,
yeah.
but I mean, this is it. Like your animals are going to your pet animals in your house are going to benefit just like you by getting outside and but by interacting with your dogs and cats, because they're roaming around and they're bringing the nature back with them. They're going, they're running, you're bringing it back into the house. And there is that relationship that it does make children less prone to, when they live in a home with a pet, less prone to allergies. So we have that old friends theory coming back. It's a hygiene hypothesis. The updated theory is they're called old friends. They've always been in our environment, and the thing is, the healthy environments are becoming depleted because of the contamination, pollution we're exposed to. But we just do our best.
Yes.
And if you can interact with farm animals and other, that's another level, isn't it? So the diversity again.
Yeah, I think that's really cool as well. It sounds to me like what you're saying is we need to have lots of little good habits that layer themselves up. Would that be fair?
Yeah, because you can get so many of these benefits at the same time.
Yeah.
If you just start with your morning, because the morning time is that time where you set your circadian rhythm to start the day off, and you're outside and you're near a tree and you're grounding, you're getting all these benefits, and the soil exposure, and you're doing a mindfulness activity. You might be mindfully drinking a coffee, or just mindfully using the 5 senses to just be. Look at all those benefits you're getting in like 5 minutes.
Yes, amazing.
10 minutes. And actually, I wanted to say there's a 10-10-10 rule, which is about the light exposure and the light hygiene side.
Yes.
So 10 minutes in the morning, just I talked about the intricacies earlier, but just to really sum it up, if you want to go back to basics, 10 minutes in the morning before 10 a.m, earlier if you can, but let's say before 10 a.m, and then get like minimize all exposure to blue light after 10 p.m.
Right.
So 10 p.m. onwards through to the morning. They say actually, to get really into nitty gritty, 10 to 4, you don't want any blue light exposure, because even 15 seconds blocks and shuts down your melatonin. And you want your melatonin for that healthy deep sleep. So when you're after 10, get some blue blockers, maybe some orange glasses, dim your lights as much as you can, have lamps if you can. They're just lowering the lights so they're not right overhead. Make them orangey if you can, incandescent. There's lots of options out there, like no blue light sites, and you can get the things. Definitely. So you can make it as techie or as not as you like, but they're the
amazing. So in conclusion, we might not all be able to get to the wilderness. That's not going to work for everybody. But it sounds like what you're saying is everybody can do something.
Everyone can do something. Hopefully we could, even in the city, there are green spaces, there are parks. If you don't have your own garden, I mean, you just find a green space and it's where there's trees and grass and just something. It's all beneficial, and it's better than not having it.
Yeah, totally.
We just do our best.
And you don't have to wait for summer either, do you? This is all year round.
All year round. Even on an overcast, cloudy day, it's so much brighter outside than indoors. The indoors light just isn't going to cut it.
Yeah.
It doesn't do the same thing for our brain that we need. We need the natural light. So it's just if you can only do 10 minutes in the morning, that's a brilliant start. And 10 minutes in the afternoon, 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon at minimum. And I think that's quite achievable for most of
I think so. I definitely think so. It sounds from what you're saying that there are so many benefits to help us to heal, and they're all free. So why would we be using them? This is absolutely brilliant. I love to take my Healy outside and to run my programs, because I usually run a program either first thing in the morning or last thing at night. And I love running my program sitting outside with, for me, just a glass of water, because I don't drink coffee, and spending time in with the animals. So it sounds that by just doing things naturally, I'm doing the right thing as well, which is really good news.
Yeah, do as much as you can outside. If you can eat outside, if you can read outside, if you can do any of your activities, get out. See if you can get them outside. It's just a habit thing. You just get used to it. Just popping out. Oh, you want a cup of tea? Just take it on. Just pop outside and drink the cup of tea, and then it's just habit. I think when we understand the importance of it,
yes,
we make an effort, yes, and it feels good, so you want to do it, and we know it feels good. We know it wakes us up when we're outside. Because if you have an indoor job like a lot of us do, on a screen, it's very draining.
Yeah.
So let's remember just to keep yourselves outside a few times a day.
Yeah, get out into nature. Leila, this has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. I am going to make sure that when we share this video that we also put contact links in there, so that if people have questions, they can come back and ask you. And I know that you'd be happy to help them. And as a naturopath, I know it's also possible to consult with you one-on-one, isn't it? So if people have a specific health condition, you can then work with them more closely and give them extra tips and take things.
I just love getting people started off with just empower yourself with all these things which are available to you right now. It's not all about all the pills and potions you can chuck down your neck, because we already have access to so many healing tools already. But of course, with complicated, deeper health issues, then guided, having some guidance and walking you through, all the things available to us is helpful, because it's maybe overwhelming otherwise. But you can't go wrong starting here with getting outside in nature.
Brilliant. Leila, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Been an absolute pleasure.